It's 2023, the first month, and there were some great metal records.
That's right. Stick around as we talk about our favorites of the month.
Kicking off this list with Obituary, Dying of Everything. I couldn't believe I rated this album as high as I did. It seriously ranks among their best albums. The production is grimy and perfectly them in all of the best ways. Some serious bangers on this record, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I love the filthy tracks like The Wrong Time, My Will to Live, and Dying of Everything. Awesome album. It's paced well at 44 minutes too.
Yeah, dude, arguably this is one of our most anticipated records of the first quarter, if not the entire year, and it didn't disappoint in the least. There are varying opinions out there, as obviously seen in our tier list ranking, but I don't think the last two albums were all that spectacular. For this to come out and just be as good as it is very much a breath of fresh air. The pacing and the overall direction of this record really put it as an early favorite in the death metal category.
Ahab, The Coral Tombs. It took me a long time to get my brain around the 66 minutes of emotionally devastating doom that Ahab crafted here. It definitely helped, though, for me to imagine myself lost at sea, chained to the bottom of the ocean, and just watching the horrors of the depths unfold in front of my eyes. It's one of Ahab's strongest records by far, with an album that you would want to put on if you just want a depressive aquatic doom experience. Yes, that does exist.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, we are very particular when it comes to funeral doom, despite it being one of our well-liked genres. There are very few bands in that subgenre that impress us enough to make it, part of our regular rotation. Ahab, really for me, has finally put out something just better than nautical-themed doom metal. There is a lot of diversity on this, which lends itself to support that 66-minute runtime. I totally agree. I think that this is one of Ahab's proficient records.
If you like your doom epic and loaded with narrative, you cannot go wrong. Catatonia, Sky Void of Stars. I absolutely adored this record, and I feel like it's probably going to end up on one of our, if not both of our, Album of the Year lists. For such a doomy band, they somehow inserted some upbeat and I'll say fun, dark, progressive rock vibes in their track list. There's some seriously earworm songs here, and after my disappointment with The Fall of Hearts and City Burials, it's great to hear the band firing on all gloomy cylinders again and delivering masterworks of their caliber. My favorite song on the record is probably Impermanence. I don't really understand why they had to have the vocalist of Sown on it. If you have a hard time connecting with the last couple of records, I think you'll feel a little more at home here.
If you haven't watched our tier list ranking, you should be able to tell that this is one of our favorite bands. This is a band that we adore for a long time now. I'm not gonna click with every single one of their records. They have 12 albums out at this point. The last half of this album is very strong. This one has grabbed us by the hand and led us off to Sad Town, and I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, how could you be mad in Sad Town?
No, you can't.
And Oceans, as in gardens, so in tombs. The Finnish veterans are back with another follow-up since their Cosmic World Mother release in 2020. If you love the straightforward approach of their last album, then you're definitely going to be happy here. It's more of the same, but it's definitely kicked up a notch with some symphonic black metal atmosphere that seriously works.
And Oceans, don't forget the ellipsis at the beginning, or else it's not right. They're a Finnish group that, man, they've really gone through a lot of changes over the years. If you're not familiar with this band, they kind of had some obvious struggles to find their sound. They took a long hiatus, and then they came back swinging with 2020's Cosmic World Mother, essential listening here at The Forge. I really love the classic approach to the production on this record. Usually when I think of symphonic metal, I'm thinking overproduced, high fidelity orchestra samples, and this is is not the case in this record at all. It's more akin to that mid-90s, early 2000s black metal. Dude, Cloudheads is like one of the best songs of the year. Fucking awesome.
If you missed the golden days of Dimmu, there's a lot of similarities here, and obviously done more in a Finnish style. If you dig that 90s symphonic black metal sound, pretty sick slab of darkness that you should check out. Tribunal, the Weight of Remembrance. Doom fans rejoice. This is one of the more underground picks on this list. If you like your Doom along the lines of My Dying Bride, you're in luck. This is extremely well crafted and top-notch death doom, very heavy at times, pairing those gorgeous tones of melodic doom and mysticism with that kind of occult traditional doom vibe. It's a duo contrasting heavily brutal and slow riffs and growling vocals with stunning soft female vocals. The cello work too is a really nice finishing touch on a lot of these songs. Every song's crushing, massive, and emotionally captivating.
Yeah, this is a strong debut from this Vancouver-based band. There are a nice variety of tropes that I would expect to hear from the gothic doom subgenre fusion. I love the album art, dude. Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, how nice. It feels like a framed still life. I think it's a great debut.
It's a solid doom release. Definitely check it out. Inherits the Void, the impending fall of the stars. Melodic black metal from the 90s is near and dear to our hearts. If you love bands like Dissection but miss a tad of that modern flair, well, this is an album for you. This album is majestic as hell with the razor sharp riffing and massive keyboard melodies to round out that cascade of blast beats and killer black metal riffing and vocals. You can tell that the band has a ton of passion in the style too, not sacrificing viciousness whatsoever and leaning into some seriously impressing riffing and compositions.
Yeah, dude, this is one of the few possible sleeper black metal hits of the year on this list here. I love the bleak atmosphere contrasted by those really nice melodic riffs. This is atmospheric black metal in the spirit of Mare Cognitum, Thy Catafalque, kind of blended with that hook-driven nature of bands like Winterfilleth. Something that I'd like to revisit, especially in the cold months.
Northeastern Winter, man. Perfect album for the vibe. Nothingness, Superliminal. Hailing from Minnesota, this old school death metal band surprised the hell out of me and Ben with some grotesque mashups of some killer death metal riffs. What I really enjoyed about this album is the band's ability to experiment with the weird, embracing dissonance and atmospherics, and also not afraid to knock things around a bit compared to your meathead death metal riffs that you usually hear in old school death metal. This album is definitely riff salad, I'll admit, but there's a lot of cool atmosphere that I don't really hear their contemporaries doing. There's a little bit of awkwardness in the transition sometimes, and it is a little bit long, but when this record hits, it hits pretty damn hard with a slimed up baseball bat to the dome.
I love this record. And you were like, dude, this album is just a slab of fucking death metal. And it really is. It feels like someone just drops like a ton of death metal into your lap. I love the dynamics in the playing. There's actually some like grittier, clean tones on here with the guitars. It's fucking awesome. A lot of mid-paced riffs to really just keep you locked in and headbanging. The vocals I thought were a bit monotonous, but for this kind of music, you're gonna be so focused on the playing and the riffs that the vocals kind of become like more of a support. You want to have moments where the vocals blow your mind, you know, and on top of just kind of a support thing. I am saying all this because I think that this band has what it takes to release something absolutely monumental. This is a great record.
Imperium Decadence, Into Sorrow Evermore. As stupid as this band name is spelled, I always thought it was a joke, to be honest. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a black metal band that hits the bar as hard as this band did in 2023. The production is kind of nasally, but somehow in a good way because they pack in a modern touch, totally full to the brim with dark, ethereal, and powerful atmosphere. The drum work is also cavernous, moody, and outright gorgeous, constructing those grandiose, atmospheric black metal passages that you just get lost in. A seriously refreshing and vicious, gorgeous black metal record that I will absolutely continue to visit all winter.
Yeah, dude, the band spells decadence like a throwback to like 90s gangster rap. It's like, why?
Decadence.
This is my first run with the band, so I wasn't sure what to expect. You know, giving the album title, I was expecting some gothic and doom influences. Happy to say that there's definitely some sorrowful melodies and patterns. I thought it was a little bit formulaic. The vocals and the pacing kind of droning at some parts. This is a really strong record if you like your post-atmospheric metal stuff. It's really unique.
There you go, contrasting opinions, boys. A lot of you guys complain that we don't disagree enough.
So you've always been on my side.
Riverside, ID Entity. Riverside have had a hell of a fucking career with a shitload of albums, and I don't know how they did it, but they somehow released one of their best records in years here. This album feels adventurous, completely refreshing, and totally packed to the brim with exciting melodies and song structures that touch a little bit of the 80s in the best way. I love the 80s, near and dear to my heart. I hear a ton of influences from bands like Rush and The Police on this album, and they definitely do their own thing with it, crafting some seriously masterful songs. Other than the somewhat lacking and kind of boring lyrical themes, I don't know why some people didn't throw a flag here, but whatever. This album is easily their best record in years.
Are you looking to cleanse your palate of some of that satanic bullshit that we have on our list? Seriously, if this album is like a chaotic good paladin coming in and like crushing the demons, storied career in the prog scene, I don't think they've ever released like a less than mediocre album. Thank you for raising the flag about the lyrical content. Some of it is just like, what?
It's very weird.
Yeah, and I definitely think that there were some wonky vocal patterns. They were like, and it's like during like this weird riff or something. It's like, what the hell? All you prog fans are gonna love it. Definitely one you have to listen to.
Thy Dark and Shade, Liber Lucifer 2, Mahapralaya. I'm a huge black metal fan that isn't afraid to settle into some mid-pace madness, and that's where this record sits, proud as fuck. I hear a lot of middle era Emperor influences on this record, and I'm not complaining. That's one of my favorite eras of Emperor in particular. And somewhat adding to the theatrical atmosphere, the vocals tend to hit all over the record, make me very happy. The production is also fantastic, showing that Thy Dark and Shade is able to hang with other big budget black metal records in the scene right now. This is an epic as fuck record that absolutely deserves repeat listens if you love a lot of texture in your black metal.
We've got another black metal hit on our fucking hands, dude. The bass lines drive me insane, dude. I love crazy bass lines, and this album has them all over the place. Dude, this is going to be a long time essential listening in the tech prog black metal subgenre because it just has that like occult, mystical, Satan worshipping, demon worshipping vibe, and it is so good. You have to listen to this.
If you miss Emperor and you want something fresh, this will fill that hole and other holes. Check out this video here if you want to see us rank all of the Obituary albums, including Dying of Everything. And check out this video here if you want to see us rank all of the Catatonia records, including Sky Void of Stars.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. Let the coral tombs suck you into the abyss.